Hey everybody, it's Ron from Ron's Basement. Thank you and you and you and you and you for joining me today. I have so many new subscribers, I'm just going to have to spend like the first hour of my video saying hi to everybody. Anyhow, I hope everyone's doing well. I've been on vacation for about 10 days, so it's been a while since I made a video. But I've got some important information to share with you today. First, I'm just going to share my general thoughts on the precious metals in general, and then I will review my 4 core holdings: Equinox Gold, Fortuna Silver Mines, First Mining Gold, and Brixton Metals. Hey, I'm in the basement, the heater's running, the wash machine's running, I've got cats everywhere. They haven't seen me for 10 days, so they're real excited that I'm home. But bear with me, I want to share with you, like I said, what I think is some really important information about the gold mining sector and precious metals in general. Anyway, it was a good week when I was gone for precious metal prices. I think gold, even today, Monday, November 14th, I believe it is in the 1850 range. Hey, that's good. You know, we can't complain about that. I made a video on November 3rd, which was the Fed day, the big spooky Fed day, and I said, I think the price of gold is only going up from here. And at that point, gold was trading like 1765. So yet again, I was proved right. Sure. The blind squirrel found the nut on that one, but gold has been up almost $100 since Fed Day. And I just have this feeling, and look, there's tons of videos with people that are much more knowledgeable than me about the underlying factors, but I feel like the gold price is, you know, it's like a canoe going down a stream with a pretty solid current, if that makes sense. And the current that's pushing it is all that stuff we already know about. If you're watching my video, you already know the money printing, the debt, geopolitical situations, everything else. So it just feels like gold is on pretty solid ground right here. And, you know, who knows? Who knows where gold might be for us a month or 6 months from now. We all know it could go lower. I'm not offering investment advice, but it just feels solid to me right now. And my past predictions have been correct. So, hey, let's jump right in. I'm going to go over my 4 core holdings for you today. First, I'll start with Equinox. They had a really good earnings report. The stock price has been doing well. I think it bottomed out after the last earnings report at a little under $6 US. They are moving, everything seems to be moving in the right direction for them. When I think about Equinox, this is what I think. I think Mexico, where between COVID and blockades, they had a rough year last year, feels like that's moving in the right direction. Now, they've had a pretty solid quarter, no big issues. These guys at Equinox, they are, in my opinion, probably the best management team in the business. Ross Beatty, Christian Milau, and Greg Smith, and then a lot of other great people as well. Just a really neat company. And yeah, Mexico's going in the right direction. That can have some organic growth in the future. Brazil has had a good quarter. They have a new mine coming online, I think January, early next year in Brazil, and they can also have additional organic growth in Brazil. They're working on the big, I think it's called Greenstone project up in Canada. That's going to be a couple years, but they're building that right now. And then here in the United States, Castle Mountain, they've got opportunity for organic growth just with what they have now at that mine. Plus, they have a big expansion plan. So, you know, they're generating cash flow. They're moving in the right direction. They're kind of growing in all 4 of their jurisdictions. And the stock, the market cap of the company is not much higher than the asset value of the company after you take out debt. That's called net tangible assets. So What an exciting opportunity. I'm still very high on Equinox. The stock has run up. I think today it's like 825, 8 something, whatever. But if the gold price continues to march forward and Equinox continues to march forward, which I think they will do, this is just a talented group of people. Higher gold price, higher production, improved sentiment toward gold miners. We have explosive opportunities. And you know, the downside risk from here is far outweighed by the upside risk. An asymmetric trade opportunity. All right, let's move on to the next company, Fortuna Silver Mines. I still love Fortuna. I still have solid faith in Jorge and the team at Fortuna Silver Mines. They're having a problem at their Mexican mine with a permit. The stock was like at $5.50 a week ago. Today it's like at $3.75, all because there's this permit issue in Mexico. I think that, and you know, I've in detail read through the transcript of the earnings call. Arcadia Economics did an interview with Jorge, and Dave Kranzler was in on that. I just think they're going to get this situation fixed, and that what we're seeing right now is an overreaction to this news that the Mexican mine, and it's still operating. Okay, it's not like it's been shut down. It's still operating. It's been an overreaction, and that things are going to be okay. Their Lindero mine in Argentina had a really good quarter, and it's offering up continued improvement. Okay, they're running at about 80% right now. They're thinking that by early next year they'll be at 100%. And that additional, you know, that difference between 80 and 100, it's not going to be all profit, but it's kind of like an airplane that's flying, right? If it's got 80% of the seats filled, those extra 20 seats, if they had been filled, would basically represent pure profit to the airline. And it's probably not the best analogy, but it's the best one I could come up with, how I think Fortuna may further benefit with their Lindero mine in Argentina. Africa's doing very well. Their African mine did well during the quarter, had a couple road bumps with some pinion gear, something on one of their machines broke. I don't understand that. And they are building their new mine in Africa, which I believe will come on in like 2023. So lots of good things at Fortuna. You can buy the company for less than the net tangible assets of the company. The market cap is less than the net tangible assets, and they're generating profit and cash flow. And the Mexican mine is still running right now. There's you know, several ways that situation can be resolved. Number one, just through dialogue with the Mexican authorities that are kind of withholding the permit at this point. Number two, through injunctions, through legal remedies, which they've begun that process. I think they would obviously prefer to get it resolved via dialogue with the Mexican authorities, but they are right now operating under an injunction. And you know, it just, you can read the conference call transcript, watch the great Arcadia Economics interview with Jorge and Dave Kranzler. I don't think that the company is going anywhere. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Great management. You know, they kind of broke even last quarter, but they had two kind of one-time charges. One was a $10 million payment they made to settle some previous royalty claims by the Mexican government, and then a final kind of $10 million charge related to the Roxgold merger. So they would have made $20 million, and they paid $10 million in income taxes. So they really had a good quarter last quarter, but because of some one-time charges, things were more at a break-even level. All right, let's move on. First Mining Gold, FFMGF. I've loved this company for years. She's broke my heart a few times, but I am excited about one key change that we saw during the last week. We got to meet Steve Lines, who's the gentleman, Dan Wilton, and he did a webinar. It was on this, I don't know, thing called SIX, S-I-X. I don't know. You can find it if you really are interested. My viewers are intelligent. That includes you. You'll find the video if you really want to watch it. But Steve Lines is a sharp, sharp guy. He is heading up the permitting process for the Spring Pole project. He's worked in the permitting process for several other mines in the past, several big mines, including the current Equinox. I think it was called Hard Rock, now it's called Greenstone. He headed up the permitting process for that. I think I've got that all right. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Really a sharp guy, very, very sharp. And the Spring Pole project is massive. It's like a 5 million ounce resource at this point. It's going to produce almost 300,000 ounces per year in Canada. Great jurisdiction. Also, they have expanded their land package around there, so there's a ton of exploration potential. It's just really exciting. And Keith Neumeyer just bought 250,000 more shares of First Mining Gold. Keith Neumeyer, he was the founder of the company, he's chairman of the board. He just put of his own money and bought another 250,000 shares. And in a recent interview on Kitco, he said he thought the stock was ridiculously underpriced, and I agree with him. Okay, I won't go on about that much longer. They also had a key hire in the last month, a gentleman, last name Maxwell. I don't know if it's Bob Maxwell, but anyway, he's going to be heading up their exploration efforts. Okay, and he came from Sabina Gold. He's had a successful background, successful track record, and if I remember correctly, he's actually kind of from that general area where Spring Pole's located. So this is kind of like a homecoming for him. I think a lot of people were surprised that First Mining Gold was able to get him and hire him. So we've got Maxwell, good to the last drop good to the last drop of gold, because he's going to find it all. And we've got Steve Lines, who's super impressive guy. And so is Dan Welton and the rest of the team at First Mining Gold. This company is I think, way undervalued right now. If we get a little bit higher gold price even, and the market wakes up to the reality that the Spring Pole project is very, very doable and permittable, I think the stock price of First Mining Gold could appreciate quite a bit. Not to mention, real quickly on First Mining Gold, they have big interest in Big Ridge, who's exploring their Newfoundland property. And when you do the fancy math, I calculate they own about 36% of that opportunity. They also have about 26% when you do, the fancy math, in Agnico, who's exploring the Pickle Crow project. That's going really well. And then they also own about 15% of Treasury Metals, who's working on the Goldland project, again, in Canada. All their Newfoundland and then Canada, great jurisdictions, everything else. Royalty portfolio. First Mining Gold has a royalty portfolio with like 20 royalties, including solid royalties on the Newfoundland properties, the Pickle Crow project, and the Treasury Metals project. They have a great royalty portfolio, but what's interesting about their royalty portfolio is that it's the number, because of all this drilling that all these companies are doing, the value of their royalty portfolio, the number of ounces in their royalty portfolio will continue to increase. So it's exciting. Okay. Finally, I'm almost out of breath, but bear with me. Brixton Metals came out with some good drill results this week. A little more on that later. But when I think of Brixton, that's kind of the fourth component of I have 4 companies that I'm highly invested in: Equinox, Fortuna, First Mining Gold, and Brixton. When I think of Brixton, I think of copper, gold, and silver, and cobalt, as a matter of fact. They've got properties all in North America, And they have all those metals, right? It's not just they're a gold company or a silver company. They got a lot of copper as well, and silver, I'm sorry, and cobalt. So I'm going to quickly tell you how I think about the company as I, in my mind, kind of think about them and why I feel good still about holding that stock. So I'm going to start with their projects. We'll start at the south, Hog Heaven. It's a huge project that was actually a permitted mine back in the 80s. It's a copper, gold, silver project. They signed a huge partnership deal with Ivanhoe Electric. I'm sorry, Ivanhoe, or Ivanhoe Electric now is taking it over. Do a little research on who heads up that company. It's a $44 million deal. And at the end of the day, Brixton would still retain a 25% interest. So my fancy math, to me, in my mind, that means Brixton's share of that deal is worth about $15 million. If Ivanhoe is going to keep 3/4 of it and they're going to put $44 million in, that would be 15, 15, 15 for Ivanhoe and 15 million value-wise for Brixton. Exciting. Again, copper, gold, and silver, or copper, silver, and gold, I think in that order. Ivanhoe did some major kind of field work. They haven't drilled yet, and they're being kind of quiet. They're a privately owned company, so we don't really know what they're up to. But if nothing else, Brixton owns that property still, and it's a very good property with a lot of minerals in the ground. Okay, as you head north, the next property would be Langus. That's in Canada, and not too far north of the border from the United States. That's a big past producing silver and cobalt area. They've had some bonanza grade, as I read them, silver drill holes over the years. There's also cobalt there, which is has some great opportunity as a battery metal. Move a little bit norther to their Thorn project. That's up in the Golden Triangle. Brixton owns, I think the biggest land package in the Golden Triangle, or one of the biggest. And I'm just going to touch on this. Camp Creek, again, copper, gold, silver, periphery, or whatever they want to call it. Hard word for me to pronounce. They had some good drill results this year. They drilled one big long hole that basically showed mineralization almost for the whole 1,000 meters that they drilled it. They're working on defining that even further. Obviously, it's way up in the Golden Triangle. It's expensive to drill up there. That's a bit of the knock or a challenge on it, but it looks promising. Most recently at their Thorn project, we got results from Trapper, which is a new area they're exploring for gold. Great results. Again, there's a lot of information out there about it, but the key thing to me is, number one, these were really great results. Some high-grade gold. It was a 200-meter deep hole, as I remember. Really high gold numbers, but this was only 3 results from 3 of 15 drill holes that they did. So we've got a lot to look forward to there as well. 12 more holes to be reported, and so far, so great. They also have an Atlan project, which is even farther north, kind of a big past producing area, again in the Golden Triangle. But lots to be excited about with Brixton. No debt. Oh, did I mention to you that 3 self-made billionaires are invested in the company? Mr. Eric Sprott, Mr. Robert Friedland, and Rob McEwen. And I think, I could be wrong, but I think I've heard Dave Kranzler mention this company in the past as well as a company that he likes. Dave's a very well-respected kind of analyst within the precious metal mining sector. And look, the macro story for those metals, for copper, silver, cobalt, gold, it's good. On a micro level, Brixton is an exploration company. Exploration companies are risky, but they're kind of diverse within the metals. And I think that the underlying support factors, as I previously mentioned, for not only the precious metals, but also the battery metals, could provide beneficial for a company like Brixton. And with that, I'll mention one more thing that relates to all the companies, and that is that we still are in a situation with most all of these precious metal mining companies where the valuations are ridiculously low on a value basis or on a historical basis as well. You know, Fortuna Silver Mines, market cap less than the net tangible assets of the company. First Mining Gold, I think that's the case with them as well. Equinox, their market cap isn't much more than the net tangible assets of the company. Oh, and I forgot to mention that you know, Equinox has a huge investment in a copper company, and I-80 Gold. I don't want to get into the but the valuations on a historical basis are so low still. They've improved a little bit, but very low in the precious metal mining sector. And I'll credit Lawrence Lepard with this. I'll end with this. If we continue to get a strong gold price, number one, okay, increased production from the producers, right? Let's just look at Equinox and Fortuna as an example. Both companies with increasing production profiles and improved sentiment. It could be explosive what goes on within the precious metal mining sector. Look, don't make any decisions based upon the information that I shared with you today. Just my opinion. Just wanted to give you an update kind of on my portfolio, my general thoughts about what's going on in the precious metal mining sector. And, you know, I hope that we all get a great benefit as the gold and silver price continues to increase. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.